friends, this is Caroline of Caroline's Plans. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please consider subscribing, liking if you haven't done so already and you like what you see. Today's video is an organization video. You guys seem to like these and I like making them. Taking the time to organize my stickers at the end of the week, or at the end of, in this case, 2 or 3 weeks worth of spreads. Just sets me off on a right foot for the following week. Helps me remember what I have in my stash, what to use up, what I can save, and it also helps me plan for future favorites videos, and it just helps set my mind right and helps me be organized. And you guys seem to like seeing these, so I'll keep doing them. Today I just wanted to come on and chat a little bit about the beginning of the school year. For those of you who don't know, I am a preschool teacher. I teach a group of students age 4 and 5, and with everything that's going on with COVID right now, schools, at least in my district, are entirely virtual. So that has been a interesting challenge, to say the least. You may have heard in previous videos about sort of a preparation process, getting together with our team. We did a lot of professional development around sort of planning for a virtual classroom, making the most out of our virtual classroom, and really focusing on building relationships with our students and with the families that we serve, which is a cornerstone of our practice as a school and as a program with our preschool program, so that's not a problem for us. So that part hasn't really been that challenging. The challenge for us really lies, or seems to be so far, in the technology side of things. I am not a particularly technology savvy person. The most tech intensive thing I can do is edit these videos and get them on YouTube. Apart from that, I don't have a lot of experience or a lot of skill, so that's been a challenge we've had to overcome. Thankfully, we did have a good amount of professional development around this, but every day is learning something new and stretching myself, which is definitely hard and definitely not what we thought we would have to do this year. At the end of last year, before all the COVID stuff started. And I think even towards the end of last school year, we were kind of hoping that it would all kind of blow over before the beginning of this school year, but it hasn't, so we are where we are. So the biggest challenge has been technology, as I mentioned. Learning more on my side about different technology resources to use to best serve my kiddos. I am learning to use and using Google Classroom for the first time in my teaching career. A lot of the older grades at our school use Google Classroom regularly for all of their assignments and for homework and things. But with preschool, we do as much as we can offline, just because most of our curriculum, and the emphasis in our curriculum is on interpersonal relationships, developing physical skills, fine motor and gross motor skills, and really learning how to be social appropriately and how to interact with the world around them, which up until recently does not often involve interacting virtually. And I, up until now, very much tried to limit our use of technology, not use of technology, but their time just spent on technology. I was never a big fan of the iPads that we had. I thought that they caused more problems than good, at least with the applications that we had available to us in our preschool classroom. And I tried to use things like our smartboard only or primarily for educational purposes. If I was missing a book, we would find it on one of the book programs, and I would show it to them. Or sometimes if we needed a movement break, I would turn on a movement song or a brain break song for them to dance to or move to, or sometimes we would find yoga videos, but that wasn't that common, again, because of the emphasis on social skills and fine and gross motor skills and sort of those basic skills like letter recognition, name writing, basic counting, things like that. So this whole pivot to being completely virtual is very hard. We spend a lot of our day interacting in sort of choice time, where the kids are able to learn through play and choose their preferred activity for a large portion of the day, and that's much harder now that we're virtual, because I would normally be, physically traveling around our classroom, moving around our room, checking in with different groups of kids, seeing what they're doing, helping them to engage with the toy or tool that they had chosen, helping them to navigate social situations, sharing, friendships, things like that in the physical classroom, and I was able to move around and help them, and that also really lent itself to building those relationships. I was able to help the kids build relationships between each other and also able to form the relationships with the kids. I could take the time to read a story to a child while sitting next to them, or help them if they need their shoes tied, or get them a Band-Aid if they scrape their knee. Like, those were all, and still are, the things that I love the most about my work, is just the time that I can spend with them and just getting to know them and just being their support person in whatever way that they need. It gives me so much joy to do that, and I feel like in the virtual environment I'm somewhat limited on that. There's only so much I can do sitting on the other side of the screen. If a child is trying to show me their picture that they drew or show me a tower that they're making with blocks, there's only so much of it that I can see on the screen, and there's only so much guidance I can give without being able to show them an example clearly with my own manipulatives, or sometimes go hand over hand with them to help them navigate a situation that they're in. So that's definitely been hard, to kind of just sit back and watch and comment on what they're doing. I'm not saying that I like micromanage or anything normally, but it's just weird not having that option to be with them and feel like I'm sort of a passive observer, which I do need to be sometimes in my role as an assessor. When I'm doing formal assessments or even informal assessments, I do play the role of an observer, but being forced to do that all the time is very difficult, and I struggle to stay engaged with that. It's just not where my brain wants to be when I'm with kids. So that's been an adjustment, and I think it will continue to be an adjustment that we have to make throughout our distance learning journey. One thing that we do rely a lot more on now is our brain breaks. So putting on movement songs that we can get off of YouTube, or taking lots of breaks in our learning to do some stretching or some quick kids yoga poses, things like that. Taking those times away from the screen, or at least on our feet, moving our bodies while seeing the screen, definitely helps them stay engaged and stay focused and engage with the learning that we are doing, which is focused a lot on those social emotional skills. Right now we're talking about greeting our friends, the appropriate way to say good morning, and then the person that you're speaking to says good morning back, those sort of basic greeting skills, and things like being helpful, and what it means to be a good friend, listening skills. We talk about how to actively listen, what it looks like and feels like in our body to be listening properly, so that you can understand the directions that are given and then complete the task that you're asked to do, whether it's something small like putting our hands in our lap to get our bodies ready and our bodies calm, or something a little bit more in depth, like all of the steps that are required to pause your play and clean up our toys and come back as a group to do a different activity. There are a lot of steps required there in that process, and helping them walk through that is something that we've been focusing on a lot, and learning how to engage with different materials, blocks, crayons, paper, pencils, books, things like that. So all that is definitely possible. It's just not happening in the medium, obviously, that I think any of us would prefer. But I think it's also important to remember that with these little guys, this is their first time in school, so they don't know any different. Funny enough, they don't actually know any different. They don't know what they're missing, for lack of a better word. So that sort of makes me feel better, that they're not, at least yet, feeling like they're missing too much, even though I know that they are. But hopefully this won't be forever, and hopefully this won't even be for the rest of this school year. I hope so. I'm definitely missing interacting more with my colleagues, and the access to technology piece is just really, really draining for me. Doing the best that I can to ensure that my students have access to technology, to the computers, to internet, all that. That's just not at all my area of expertise, and I'm just very thankful that we do have the technology supports that we do have, and that my students are able to access what they need. And hopefully soon everyone will be, up and running and ready to go, and we'll be able to make some really wonderful memories and help them build some lasting relationships with both their teachers and each other. As soon as we're all able to be connected, I look forward to fostering those social skills and those academic skills, and really getting to also be one-on-one with them and see what they know, and use our short one-on-one times regularly to reinforce those academic skills, as well as the relationships that we're trying to build. Thank you so much for watching. Peace, love, and happy painting, everyone. Bye-bye.